Welcome to ARW. I'm Harold, and I just sort of felt talkative. I'm sure you wonder if there's anything that I'm doing besides reviews, and even though I've got one more review to go yet, I'm doing some other things besides reviews. One of which is a top secret project that I've been thinking about for 2 or 3 years, and I've procrastinated on it over and over and over. But I'll show you some of the equipment. Now that is some of the equipment for the project. That's not the configuration that it's going to wind up in, but that's what it's going to be in, the configuration it's going to be in while I'm testing it and working out a few of the connections and such things. But this right here is an Arduino Duo, and it's about 10 times faster than all the other Arduinos. It's also, as far as I know, and I'm not an expert on Arduinos, so don't take my word for anything, but I think it's the only one that has 3.3 volt I/O. All the others have got 5 volts, which gives me a problem here. This is 5 volts. This guy over here is 5 volts. So I'm getting 5 volts from there to supply it, but when I want this Arduino to talk to this guy, and it's talking to it right now, I had to get what they call a logic level something or other. And like I said, I'm not an electronics type, so I had to look it up and look it over. And what you've got, if you want a 3.3 volt device to talk to a 5 volt device, you've got to have this logic leveler in between them. And the logic leveler is a little chip like that. It's got 4 inputs on this side and 4 inputs on that side, and the inputs are bidirectional. They're also outputs, and it's got chips on it. Let me turn it over. It's got little chips on it to make it operate. One side is the low voltage side, and the other side is the high voltage side. Now the low voltage side has got 3 volts power going right into the middle 2 connections to run the chips, and the high voltage side has got 5 volts going in the other side to run the high voltage chips. So if you've got a 5 volt signal that wants to go to the Arduino, it takes in a 5 volt signal, and the other side of it puts out a 3 volt signal. That way you don't burn up your Arduino. Seems like that this would make it kind of maybe less popular, and it may be, because if you look for examples of people doing stuff with the Duo, you don't find them, or at least I don't. But anyway, this is what I've got going here. This is right down here. This guy, this is one of the logic leveler that I've soldered the legs onto, and I've got it communicating between the Duo and that stepper driver. So there you go. Oh, another little quirk this thing has: if you turn off the power, it forgets the program. That seems to me kind of inconvenient, because I know I had an Uno, and the Uno I'd put the program into one time and it stayed there, you know, in EEPROM. So why doesn't this guy stay? It's probably something I don't know. But anyway, when you turn off the power on this thing, it disappears. But I'm going to use that little stepper motor over there to run something. And this guy here, he's a rotary encoder, and I'm going to use him to read something. And that's what I've been doing a little bit, not much. I hadn't touched this in about 4 or 5 days, but I am working on it. And this is what I do in between reviews. Now then, I guess that's good enough to end the video. I'm going to go along and do a review.